ghost crawler promised us a moose. Where in the hell is our moose? Where's our moose?
Archimon, best in slot. So
Yeah.
I've got best in slot helm,
Yeah, he did.
back,
Damn that guy.
legs, and feet, and technically
But
brain
find
now,
him
just
and
not
ask him
perfect.
yourself.
So I need main hand
I have
off,
no damn
zone
idea.
around.
Hey guys, this is Lion of Judah from the Guild 7 from Thunderhorn server. So glad to be with you on this very unexpected 6.2.3 preview question mark. I was at work today and one of my good friends, Neo Todir, texted me with information and said, you got to look at this. And I'm like, okay. Like, I wasn't even expecting Blizzard to do anything except the pre-patch for Legion. And here we are, October 14th, and we're getting a 6.2.3 patch that actually has stuff in it. And with me on this video, of course, is my tank Mogwin.
Hello.
Hey. And I have my GM Zeratul with me. Say hi, Zera.
Hello.
And then I have Shivan, our healer, with me. Say hi.
Hello.
And the infamous Neo Todir with me. Say hi.
Well, hey there.
So, okay, guys, there is not a ton of information, but I mean, there is some definite things to talk about. We got Cataclysm Dungeons, Timewalking, we got Grimbatol, Stonecore, Lost City, Tovir, the Vortex Pinnacle, Throne of Tides, End Time, which is awesome dungeon. And we also have Pidge of Sauron and Magister's Terrace are also getting into Timewalking. Then we have an infinite Dragonflight mount that is going to have a chance to drop on any Timewalking boss. Then we also have Cross-Realm Mythic Rating enabled. Valor is making its return, and you can earn it from heroic and mythic dungeons, various bonus events, and also on the first LFR you run each week. Mythic dungeons will have lucrative source of valor. Mythic dungeons can now drop an heirloom trinket that scales to level 110. That's going to be very interesting. We also have the item level upgrades coming back, that you're going to be able to upgrade each item by 10 levels. We also have, if you defeat Archimon on heroic difficulty or higher, you're going to be rewarded the quest to get the Groove Warden, which is basically the, what was that mount, Shiv? Because I say it's a moose and you say it's a, what?
It looks like a caribou.
It's a fucking moose.
She says moose, we say caribou, whatever. Okay, and then we also have the mythic Warforged items that are going to be even higher item level now, and I'm pretty sure Zera has a pretty good explanation of how it's going to work. But basically it's 685 to 725 in five level increments. Same thing with the Belfall items. And then of course Warlord Season 3 is coming as far as PvP goes for all those PvPers out there. So with all this information, Mogwin, what do you take out of all this information and what are you excited for?
Well, I believe that we've talked about this recently, is that they are, I think maybe they want to give us more things to do before Legion comes out, and I think they're taking a pretty good step here. They're bringing. I'm kind of excited about Valor because I was one of the few people I think that really liked the way the Valor system worked. It was something to do every week. And I'm also excited about the item, the upgradability of items, kind of like at the end of Siege of Orgrimmar, where you could you go out and you get the little items from the time
Ethereals,
over there,
the Ethereals.
yeah. And you go to the Ethereals and they upgrade your item up to a certain amount. And I don't know, it was just something extra to do, a way to increase your power just by doing stuff. And I don't know, I really like that. They're giving us stuff to do. It's a good step.
Sweet. And what about you, Shiv? What are your thoughts on everything that I just mentioned as far as this 6.2.3 preview?
Well, I'm excited about the new mount because the mount is awesome looking. It
Nah,
reminds
really?
me of a more armored Azure that comes from Malagos. But it's been a while since we've had access to a really cool mount like that because a lot of them are locked behind the store and stuff like that. So that'll be really cool. Just a chance at getting something for grinding the dungeons. I don't think Valor should have ever been gone. It was always something that we kind of did. It brought groups together in
Agreed
the
on that.
guild to go do dungeons, and it was always something you could go work on by yourself. You could always make progress by, arena gear and whatever, stuff for alts, materials. I mean, there was always something to do with Valor. So I'm just as shocked as anyone else about this patch because I didn't expect anything either. I expected us to just do achievements and fish until Legion.
Yeah. And what about you, Neo? How were you taken by this, this preview for the upcoming patch?
Oh, dude, I'm excited because I mean it's got all the. I mean, obviously I want those mounts. They're cool. But I'm interested to see how the item level scaling works. Like the it says anywhere from like 685 to 725 in mythic dungeons can drop, and I'm like, what does that mean for us? And what does that mean for raiding in general? Because we're doing. We just got what is it 7 out of 13 last night for our raid, and then being able to push our gear and get like 725 item level stuff to be able to help us complete raids, and then doing all this extra stuff. I'm a big fan of Timewalking, not necessarily BC, but all this other stuff that looks really cool, and I'm excited for that. And I'm really just Timewalking's cool, and I like the Valor points. I was always a fan of, in upgrading, and it's really something that's really cool for me. It's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And Zara, what are you excited for as far as this patch coming up?
Uh, Pretty much us getting some more things to do and reasons to do them, obviously. Like, I was always a fan of Valor. Some people hated it. I like that, like, some people say, oh, well, Apexis crystals is the same thing. It's not. It really
It
isn't.
really is not.
And there was kind of something nice knowing, throughout the week you could either do it one day or, multiple days, or sometimes save it for the end of the week and, go and do a little bit of farming in different ways, whether it's running dungeons, running raids, doing some PvP. Like, there was many aspects you could do to get Valor, and it kind of gave you like a weekly goal other than, your garrison chores, which was nice. So I'm excited to have that back. The whole being able to raise our item level is obviously like their new way that they kind of nerf the raids slightly for people that are having trouble. Like, you remember back in the day, they used to do the increased, whether they in ICC they made us more powerful up to a percentage, and then I think, what was it, in Kata they took the raid down or made the raid
Yeah. In
weaker.
Dragon Soul,
Yeah,
they
in
made it
Dragon
weaker.
Soul. So, and then in Mist they said, well, instead of doing that, what they're going to do is they're going to make it so like the gear we have, we can go farm Valor, we can do things and make ourselves slightly more powerful, which I'm okay with that. There's, instead of just nerfing a raid or just straight up making us 30%, more health, more mana, more stam, is kind of just meh. The whole being able to, like, okay, I'll go out, I'll run 3 or 4 dungeons, I'll hop in the raid, I'll kill a couple rares, and I'll get these Valors. I can upgrade a piece, and I'll be just that little bit more powerful, because we're at the point where we've seen it where we're at a boss, on heroic, on progression, and it's like, we wipe 5 times, and all 5 wipes we're at like 4%, 3%, 2%. And it's just like, people aren't really making any mistakes anymore. They really got it down. It's just like, we need that little oomph. We don't need a whole 20%, just slash across the board of a nerf or a buff. We just need to get that little bit extra to push, and the problem is with progression bosses usually is you get to a certain point where people get to a certain gear and it's like, all right, we need to get this boss down. So we're going to lock this raid out to this boss. He needs to die. We can't waste time on bosses for maybe 2 people to hopefully get a trinket. Hopefully get a trinket. You know what I mean? Where this does that, like, well, you know what? Everyone goes out farming. Everyone will be, one whole item level higher when we get back. So everyone's DPS will be up by 500 or 1,000 maybe when we go into the raid, and that'll push it, and then that'll get that progression boss down, and then we can go back to clearing some bosses to try to get those other things, and it helps our progression, to get the kills as opposed to a dead stop or having to farm the same bosses over and over again forever. So that is something I'm glad they're bringing back, and that is a good thing. The time walking obviously is, I think, is awesome. We've been saying it for a few years now that we hate that Blizzard just abandoned shit, and it's nice to go back and do it. That isn't just for a transmog, which is kind of cool. And they're bringing in a few more dungeons. I think they're bringing one for Burning Crusade, and I think one for Wrath, and then they're going to give us the Cataclysm dungeons, which I liked. So I'm pretty excited for most of it. There ain't anything there that I disliked. I mean, everything there that they said, I was pretty much, yeah, all right. Maybe half of this should have came when they opened up Tanan Jungle, but what are you going to do? The one thing that a little bit annoys me that isn't in the announcement that I think is complete and utter bullshit is they didn't say that when this patch is coming, LFR will no longer exist. So, you win some, you lose some.
That's very true. I am very excited, and I always talk in criticism to Blizzard as far as their motives and their way of doing things, as far as announcing patches, and as far as actually going through with how long they wait of communication of you know between patches. Like, we've talked about it in ad nauseum as far as in past videos of how we have to wait almost 6 months, or something like that, to hear from Blizzard and say, oh yeah, we have this new patch coming up and it'll be available like maybe next month, and then we wait 5 months without hearing nothing. And we were all under the assumption that the next patch is going to come out. I'm sorry, the next patch that was going to come out was going to be the pre-patch for Legion. That's what was my assumption, and I figured, oh, that's when they're going to do the cross-realm mythic rating, when that was going to take place. And I'm very excited for that because of course our guild basically cross raids with Neo's raid group in Hellscream server. So that to me is very exciting, that the fact that once we complete heroic progression, we will now be able to enter mythic with Neo's group, and that's very exciting. And I also really love the fact that Valor's coming back. I love the fact that there's going to be several incentives there for you as far as mythic dungeons with this heirloom trinket, the mount from Timewalking. Like, Blizzard needs to start putting incentives other than gear. Like, I've been saying this for a long time. Like, gear is fine and gear is fun, yes, but once you have it, then what's the fun? Like, I would like it if Blizzard put, like, in these time walking dungeons, some crazy buff that we get, because hey, it's the end of the expansion, it's no longer relevant. Give us something to go through this, and just give us, like, hey, we're going to give you guys with the Cataclysm, time walking, or with just any dungeon you do, whether it's time walking, regular dungeons, mythic dungeons, and you can go in and you're going to have a 50% haste buff. Like, everyone's going to have 50% more haste, or 50% more multi-strike, or 50% more crit. And you just go in there and you freaking Romful Stomp, because that is fun. When you're going in there and you're like a little bit over geared already for the stuff, but you have these crazy buffs, it's fun. And that was why Wrath of the Lich King, as far as ICC, was so much fun, because they gave us like a 30% buff that, like, at the time we were doing like 17k, 15k.
It was gradual though.
Yeah, it was gradual. Exactly, it was gradual, but it was so much fun to see once we finally got to like the 25 to 30%, nerf to ICC, that we were just powerhouses, and it was so much fun to do that because we were just wanting to see how much DPS we can do. Like, and that's why everyone was running ICC, and the content was actually quite fun. But no matter how great the content is, doing it the 864th time it's no longer fun at that point. What keeps it fun is really, as damage dealers, is how much damage we can do. As healers is how much healing we can do with, as much mana we have. And as tanks is how much damage can I do as a tank while keeping threat on the boss. Like, those are the things that people enjoy, is to feel that sense of overpoweredness. And why not feel that way at the end, when it's kind of already all said and done? This expansion is coming to an end, and I think Blizzard, I finally hope that Blizzard understands that these are the time periods that we need this type of content, or we need these type of incentives. And I'm really glad. Like, I was so surprised, and I was very shocked when I read these things, and I was like, man, because I honestly thought, like I said, we were going to get this patch, come, this whole start of the pre-patch of Legion, which I thought was going to be months away. But at least now, as far as our raid group, we're going to be able to go into, mythic raiding, which is going to be very fun. Like, I think, doing the first two bosses, I mean, from what I hear, the first two bosses of mythic is pretty rumble stomp, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah, I don't know about that.
well, I mean, they're not terribly hard. I mean, it's the first boss of the dungeon. I mean, or of the raid. I mean, by this time, and we should know that fight like the back of our hand. So even if it is a kind of crazy mechanic, like, I'm pretty sure we can handle it. But I mean, also too, like, it gives us the incentive too, because it does say that defeating heroic Archimon for a limited time, it says that you're going to be able to get that Grove Warden mount, which I think is a really good incentive. You know what I mean? Because that mount I thought was going to be a store bought mount, that you have to pay like $30 for.
There was a lot of discussion about it, yeah, because some of the data miners had said the file tag line was said it was store-bought mount, and we're like, oh, it's going to be a store-bought mount, but then it's like, oh, just kidding. The data miners are wrong.
Well, here's the thing though, and they've, I've saw videos from Bellular Gaming, from Preach, from, countless people. And they always say, like, it would be really nice to actually be able, like, maybe for just a limited time, like, hey, in this time window, you can be able to achieve this store-bought mount, like, in-game, without any, money involved. If you do said achievement, or if you do said thing, you can earn this mount, because, like, and I know you, Neo, and I know you, Shiv, are very big mount people. I'm not so much, but, like, that creates that sort of, like, wow, I can actually get this mount in game without having to pay $30 for it. I mean, and we've all been playing this game for, I mean, I think all of us have been playing this game for 8+ years now. So, I mean, we've been playing this game for an awfully long time. So, I don't know. I think Blizzard is on the right track as far as, catering to the us as the audience, and us as the subscribers that are paying for this game. I don't know. Do any of y'all have any other thoughts other than what we already talked about?
Uh, I don't know. I'm just, I'm really excited about that new dragon mount. That is cool.
It's so sweet looking.
I've been
It looks
I've
awesome.
been wanting a mount that looked like that last boss in that one dungeon at the end of Kata. I've been saying
Yeah.
that needed to be a mount for a long time.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be cool.
With this, for me, the Mythic Dungeons thing and the item upgrades is going to be interesting because it says from 685 to 725. What I'm worried about is if we're spending Valor points on upgrades, would it be worth it spending Valor points if I get like an item that gets like 690 or 700 if it's not 725? Should I spend the Valor points to upgrade that piece, or should I just only spend the points if I try to shoot something that's like, 725 and try to boost it up 10 eye levels, just like, you know what I mean?
Well,
We had that before. We had that same issue before with the upgrade system. Is we didn't know was it worth spending in and upgrading it, or was it not? Because what if we get that other piece and there was no refund system set up?
What it came down to when we did it back in Mist was if you upgraded your tier, or if like you knew what items you had that were best in slot. Like, if you got your number 3 trinket and the only better one was mythic, or some boss on heroic that was just insane and you weren't going to get it done anytime soon, you waited for that. But the way most people did it in Mist was, when you got your tier piece, you upgraded your tier pieces because you're most likely not going to replace them,
Yeah.
unless you go in and, at the time there was no Mythic, so, Mythic came in kind of a little later, it was Heroic. But you waited and upgraded those, and then like if you got your weapon, like this is your weapon, you will be using this the rest of the expansion. You upgraded your weapon, and it's going to be the same way, upgrade the right pieces. A lot of people might look at it and be like, oh, well, this piece is like bad. Well, it's not bad, but it's not great, but it's the best I have, and all my other stuff is good. Should I upgrade it? No, it's garbage. Don't bother,
And the
Wait
one
till you get the right thing.
the,
That little thing ain't holding you back.
Well, the one thing too I was gonna say is with the way they've done time walking as far as dungeon loot, I cannot stand it. I hate it when I win a piece of gear and it's like I got a big plug of versatility. What can I possibly do with this
Versatility.
stupid thing? Like, and the thing is that the same thing with Mythic Dungeons. Like, I don't like how they've structured the gear there. Like, to me, the gear needs to just be two stats. I don't like this one big stat plug. I don't
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
kind of
It's
stupid.
even though it may be like a desirable stat, like let's say if you're a warrior and it's a big crit, just a big crit plug, like I still don't like that. Like there should just be a thing of just you get two stats, plain and simple. I don't like this one big plug of stat. But also too for the mythic dungeons, it does see that the way it's going to work is that the whole going to 725 is the thing is going to be 685 regular. But if it war forges on you, the war forge has a chance to be of the 5 level increments. So
Yeah.
that has the potential that you can earn like a 725 chest, you know, but it's like like Zara said, it's like a 30% chance that that might happen. But it's a 100% chance it's probably going to be a 685. But if it war forges on you, it could be, 690, 695, 700, 705, 710, 715, 720, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it basically, like I said, it's kind of like roulette, basically, on what it may Warforge, may not Warforge, whatever. But I just think because people are going to be running Mythic Dungeons for Valor, it's a pretty good incentive to just kind of throw in there and be like, hey, you can possibly win a 725, like here you
Yeah, I
go.
like reasoning in, and I'm gonna be as soon as those time walking weekends come out, I'm not gonna be doing anything but running because Wrath of Lich King's coming up. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I got my 1900 from the first week of this new stuff for badges, and I'm like, man, I really love time walking Lich King dungeons, and to get chances on that mount from any boss, that's what I'm going for that definitely.
Oh,
But
me too. I'm not even a mount person, and I'm going to be doing that because that
Well,
mount looks
here's the
sweet.
thing too. There's going to be the super super elitists, like the mythic raiders, where they're going to see and they're going to go, "Hey, this piece out of this mythic dungeon has the best stats ever. Like this, how with the raid drops, this trinket at a time walking, if it pops 720, it is the best trinket to have." And they're going to try to farm it a little bit. And so that'll get them in there too.
hmm
No, I agree. Yeah, you're going to have your hardcore people that's going to be looking at every, because I remember Ben linked me a mythic trinket. It was like a 705, right, Ben? It's like a
Yeah.
705 agility plug trinket, and he was like, hey, is this good for you? If that trinket, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really like Azerothian in how, doing all that crazy WoW crafting and stuff, but I can guarantee you if that Warforges is 725,
Oh
especially
yeah.
with how hunter trinkets are right now. Hunter trinkets, the only real good one is of course the Mirror of the Blade Master. That is the one all and true. Like if you get that, you're gonna stick with that. The other trinket I've been using the Kazakh trinket because Miss Robot basically says the Kazakh trinket is the best secondary one to use and gives you all
You
those
just get
stats.
so many
You
stats
get
from
so
it.
much stats from it. So, but if the Warforged 725 of that agility trinket, I don't know. I mean, you might be right, Zara. I mean, that could definitely be a possibility. Having those hardcore, I must have the best in slot gear. I mean, it's definitely possible. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to say about this? Anything else? Oh yeah, and the drop rate of Floodlight, 20% higher.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
Forgot
see
about
that.
But
that.
That's
that's
pretty
from
interesting.
doing profession stuff too.
Yes,
That's from
skinning,
gathering.
mining, herby, and
Now,
fishing.
I'm wondering, well, you obviously can't skin in your garrison. I mean, that'd be great if you could take the followers you don't like, hit them in the head and skin them, but that shit can't happen. But
Yeah.
the mining and stuff people do in their garrison, I'm wondering if they're going to like I haven't seen any fell blights out of
No,
my garrison
it's
mine,
only
so
its man.
It's only in Tanan Jungle. It's not anywhere else in the world.
It's
So
only into now.
that should encourage people to go farm a little bit more. Now, when when Tanan first opened, and I think I was getting my first crafted item upgraded, I needed like 5, I think, fell blights or something like that.
Yeah.
And I went to the one area where all the bugs are. What the hell is that called? Well, anyway, and you can skin them. And I just spent like 20 minutes over there just wrecking house because they're just everywhere, killing 5, 6 at a time. And I ended up getting like 6 or 7 fell blights in about 30 minutes. So if that's going to be a 20% increase, that means we're going to start seeing a lot more of them. Obviously, the price will probably drop a little bit, and that just, it gets people out there doing some stuff, as opposed to just sitting in your garrison, which is a good thing.
Well, the other thing too is like I was saying, and this is going to be probably my last point, but is our mains are pretty much kind of crazy over geared, and I think the average player at this point should at least be almost being completely normal geared. I mean, heck, Zara, your other alt, your secondary alt, and I even think yours too, Mogwin, is pretty much all in normal gear by this point.
Yeah.
So it's like all these changes they're doing. I mean, is it for alts? Because I would definitely not think it's for people's mains at this point.
Well, we're raiders and we kind of know what we're doing, but like I'm in a guild of 500, and a lot of people are just trying to catch up to where we are at this point because they haven't had the time to go through all this stuff and go through raids and LFRs and all that. So I mean, it's good catch-up mechanics for those, but it's also it's good catch-up. I think it's more for catch-up mechanics. People who need to get up to that higher level to kind of just jump into the content, because this makes more people want to jump into more content. So I think anybody, if you're a fresh 100, because my friend, one of my guildies was a fresh 100, and he within like 15 minutes had all that BOA gear and all that baleful stuff, and he was 650 in like an hour. So I mean, it was
I did the same. That's
doing
nice.
stuff.
It helps too for like, because those situations happen where even in guild, like, you're a druid or you're a hunter or something like that, and all of a sudden, like, you guys have a main tank. Maybe you're a smaller guild where you don't have a couple tanks on standby, and it's like, oh, well, so-and-so left to, back to, the war, or, they had to quit and they got a new job, or they can't raid anymore. It's like, well, I had this alt that was kind of okay geared. I can get him up and, be tanking, and it helps you do that faster.
Well, that's true. I mean, I kind of had a feeling it was a little bit for alt love, and I kind of appreciate that. But I think if they really wanted to do alt love, a change that would have been in this patch would have been all the, Belful stuff is now BOA, that you can just send them off to your alts into non, because I hate that whole, go do naval missions. Screw you, naval missions. I will never do you at all.
They should have made it so that there should have been at least a little bit of a speed up for the legendary ring too.
They've already got a bunch of speed ups.
It actually is, because I've done it on my hunter. My hunter dinged 100. I didn't even really start the legendary, but I finished the first step in a week and a half, and I'm already partway into the second part.
Well, I'm talking about the last step in the shipyard.
Oh, the tome?
Shipyard takes forever.
Oh,
for
you're
that
talking about
stupid
the shipyard. Oh yeah,
that one thingy.
Well, see, here's the thing, Ben. The thing that probably a lot of people don't know is they have this thing in the Spirit Lodge where if you do work orders for the Spirit Lodge, you can get out of those work orders, you can get a little missive thing that allows your ship missions to complete instantly. You don't have to wait 2 days.
You got to be kidding me.
No, you didn't know that?
Not know about that.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah. A lot of work orders.
You just changed his
have
world.
A chance of giving you a little missive that completes shipyard missions instantly. And
Yeah,
you don't
that's
have to
like
wait
the one thing that I don't have on any tune is the Spirit Lodge, because I just didn't see the point. I mean,
me neither.
Well, now you know.
Now I know. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Well, you're here to hear, folks, from Neo Toadier.
The only other thing I can really think of that really kind of concerns me is the fact that there's a patch coming out, which, I mean, it's not like an, oh my god, here's a trailer patch for some big thing going on, but what does this mean for the date for Legion?
Yeah.
Because originally, if there was no other patch besides the pre-patch, I guesstimated that we would have beta by November, and we'd have an early March release, but anywhere between January and March. But now with this in place, and it's not even on the PTR yet, so you could still be looking at a month before this even comes out to begin with on
Man,
the PTR.
with this coming out, like none of us expected this. I don't think
No.
anyone like, and not all of us are keep in tune to everything that's happening at Blizzard, but I'm pretty sure no one knew this was coming. So with this, I'm imagining BlizzCon is going to announce beta, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, beta will start in December or January,
Yeah.
for Legion, or maybe even February, and imagine 4 months of that.
This could
Expect
push this could push
March.
the date back, and I'm just like, I guess that's okay. I mean, I
Well,
don't.
okay. I think, and I'm going to be the optimistic one for a change. I think this is not going to change anything because if you look at it, I think the Cataclysm dungeons they've been working on those. Everything else they've been working on,
I don't think it's going to
and
change anything. I just think what it is, it's letting us know what their planned date is a little bit more, where we're all thinking like, oh, Beto's going to drop, pretty much at BlizzCon, and, plan on, Legion or whatever,
I
open
still
beta and
think
all that being like, beginning of the year, where this is more like, the way it's looking is, they're probably going to announce when the beta is coming out, not that it is
Yeah.
coming out,
no,
you know?
I think I'm being optimistic. I think beta is still going to be announced at BlizzCon, but it's also going to be available at BlizzCon, and beta will actually be dropped at the end of November. I don't think this changes anything because everything that you see in here, there's no real big. It's basically like an off and on switch. Oh,
Yeah.
the item upgrades, flip that switch back on. Oh, Valor, turn that switch back on. Everything here is there's nothing brand new that they have to make or develop. Everything it's pretty much they've like I said they've been working on the Cataclysm, time walking dungeons. Now they're just opening them up. It's really nothing big. I think this is just something to hold us over until BlizzCon, until the Legion beta. I'm being optimistic. I think Neo's still right on it. I think beta will be at the end of November, and Legion will be officially done in March. I really think that's going to happen. But does anyone else have anything else to add before we end this video?
No, just looking forward to spamming those mythic
I
dungeons.
hope this patch comes in sooner than later. Like,
Yes,
I'm
like
totally
tomorrow.
ready for like this
Tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Good point though. What Mario had said was like, maybe what if this means like they do more things like this, during X-Packs? What if they do random? What if there's more to come?
absolutely.
You know what I mean? What if they
Great.
have more stuff to put in later on? Oh, and we didn't mention the PvP season 3 is coming.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That gear
Well,
is going to be really powerful.
Oh yeah,
Some
definitely.
love right there, big time.
Valor.
Well, I was saying earlier before we started the whole discussion, like, I think that Blizzard, not like this exact type of content, but like, I think Blizzard should have content of this size, like this many things coming into the game, a minimum of every 3 months. Like, every 3 months we should be getting, a new time walking, a new this, a new that. To
Flip on a
keep
switch,
it
like Mario was
fresh,
saying. Yeah.
exactly. Flip on some switches, turn some things on, get people doing stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you guys so much for helping me with this video and being a part of it. I am so glad this is happening. I can't wait for this patch to finally be like, I want a date. I'm hoping that now we got the preview. Now they're going to announce maybe this next coming week a date for this patch, or at least maybe even this Tuesday, maybe the start of
PTR.
the PTR for this patch. So I mean, very optimistical stuff happening in our future. Again, thank you guys for helping me out on this video. If you like this video, I want to know what your guys' thoughts that are watching this video. I want you to comment, see what you're excited for. Are you excited for the, Valor coming back? Are you excited for, the mounts? You excited for the new Cataclysm time walking? I mean, what are you excited about? So like, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.
Ask questions.
Yes, ask questions. Also, too, we're going to be doing another campfire discussion, and that's where I'm going to be getting. It's going to be an all mailbag type of question. So if you have a question that you just want, us to ask or us to answer for you guys, leave it also in this comment section, and I will get to that for the next video. So if you have, any questions on Legion, you have any questions on what's going on right now in Warlords, class related questions, anything, definitely leave them in the comment section and we'll get them to you in the next video.
A topic that you want Zara to ramble on about for 15 minutes.
Exactly, that can definitely happen.
You have no idea the amount of willpower it takes not to go on and start cursing and swearing,
All right, guys.
writing angry letters.
Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.